Today's class is going to be on liver flushing, and hopefully we're going to get a really good idea of why we liver flush, when to liver flush, and how to liver flush. Basically, what liver flushing is, just for the background of it all, the liver is the vacuum cleaner of the body. And anytime that you are doing a detox program or you are doing anything, your liver has to vacuum up all the waste that you're creating. Everything that you're doing, the liver has to get in there and clean this up and get it out of the body. The liver will only allow itself to become 70% toxic. When it gets 70% full of waste, it will then quit pulling and it will start blowing. Just think of a vacuum cleaner with a full vacuum cleaner bag. You flip that thing on and you got dirt going everywhere. You will see when your liver is overwhelmed, you will see hives breaking out on the skin. You will find yourself with any number of toxic backlash symptoms coming on. Anything from headaches to just aches and pains. I've even had people with mimicking heart attacks, chest pains, tightness in the chest, all of these things, acid reflux. All of those things are an indication that your liver is just overwhelmed and you really need to get it flushed out. Okay, anytime that you're starting a program, it is a good idea to get yourself into, within the first 24, 48 hours, it is a really good idea when you start any cleansing or healing program, you want to do what we call an ELF, an emergency liver flush. The ELF is going to just open up that avenue, clear that liver out. Okay, the ELF is not a detox in and of itself. What we're doing with the ELF is we are flushing the liver through, changing that internal vacuum cleaner bag, or taking a fire hose to one end of the liver and flushing it through. Whichever analogy works best for you, that's what an ELF is all about. It's about clearing the liver out so that it can begin to pull again. And you don't have to do anything special. Once you have flushed that liver out, it will just start pulling again. I mean, it goes from just a slight pull to turbo suck, just pulling waste from everywhere. I've had people in here that were just covered with hives, and in 24, 48 hours, they were like 70, 80% cleared of the hives on their skin. Any other issues? Those are the most topical ones, and one of the worst complaints from a backed up liver is just those itchy, horrible hives that you can get, and they're miserable. That's another thing to remember is anytime that the skin breaks down, you want to look at the liver. Topical applications are not going to clear the skin when you are dealing with hives, eczema, outbreaks on the skin, even acne to some degree. When the liver becomes overwhelmed and it cannot get waste out through normal channels, it will vicariously detox through the skin. And the skin is a very sensitive organ that can't take that kind of toxicity coming out of it. So it will very quickly break down and you will have hives, eczema, miserable conditions coming on. So whenever the skin starts to act up, break down, you want to look at the liver. There are things you can do to support the skin while you're getting it cleared. A ginger bath is very helpful. 2 cups of ginger in a tepid bath and soak in that. It's a downward motion herb that will encourage the liver to go the other way. Not that it can do that very well when it's backed up, but it will help relieve some of the itching and some of the discomfort. And we also have salve. Our healing salve is very helpful for calming the itch and the discomfort down. But ultimately, the only way you're going to clear that is to do your ELF and to get your liver flushed out and flushed through. So these are the reasons why you would want to do an ELF. I would suggest that anytime that you begin a healing or detox program, that you do an ELF within the first 24, 48 hours, that you get yourself together, get your bowels open, get whatever you need to do so that you can just get that flush through. And then the herbs that you're using to detox and to heal yourself are going to be much more effective. I mean, when you're taking all the good formulas, and they're not cheap, they cost a good amount of money. And so when you're taking all these wonderful formulas and you cannot, your body isn't able to process the waste out that you're creating, it's almost a waste of your money. So getting your bowels open, your liver flushed at the very beginning of any program is an excellent way to get started. And one of the quickest ways, let's say that you're dealing with, we'll just take a gallbladder attack, because that is one that you've got to deal with right away and aggressively. So you've got someone and they are just, they can be throwing up, they can just have horrible pain. I've had gallbladder attacks where people thought they were having a heart attack. The chest seizes up, they can't take a deep breath, they're having chest pains, all of this. The way to rule in or rule out anything else is to use your LP and digestive tonic. These are two formulas that I suggest you have in your house all the time. The LP and the digestive tonic. You would take 1 to 2 teaspoons of each of these in a few swallows of water, and you knock them back. And no, it's not the best tasting thing, but it's also not the worst. And within just a few minutes, if it is a gallbladder attack, you're going to see everything just easing up. The tightness in the chest, when you're everything up here is tight, that can happen because the acidity from the liver is backing up into the abdominal cavity and into the stomach. And it is so acid that it just causes all the muscles up here to seize up. And it can mimic anything from a pulled muscle to a heart attack. And when you use your LP and digestive tonic, it neutralizes all of that and sends all that waste back down into the liver, and just calms everything down so that all that pressure, all of that goes away. It's also excellent for bloating, horrible bloating, gas, and all those kind of issues that come in your upper digestion or lower digestion. So the LP and digestive tonic would be one of the first things you want to grab, maybe after your cayenne, when you are having any type of chest pains or anything where you're really afraid, where it appears that something really bad is going on. Yeah, the cayenne would be the first thing I would grab. You want to take a good teaspoon of cayenne, take your hot lemonade down, and once you've got that down and you know you're not going to hit the floor and pass out, then go ahead and do your LP and digestive tonic and just see how far that takes you. You know, quite often you're going to be right as rain in just a little while, and then you're going to go, oh, darn, Dara said I have to do an ELF now. This is not good. And it will be time to pull out the olive oil and grapefruit juice and everything else and just get ready to do it that evening. But at least you know what to do and you're empowered to take care of yourself. But that would be the first thing that you would use to rule out or rule in that it is coming from the gallbladder, is your LP and your digestive tonic. Okay. Then, okay, now we've ruled in, we've got a gallbladder attack going on, and we've got to get an ELF down, but you cannot do an ELF if your bowels are backed up. And quite often, if you're having a gallbladder attack, you're constipated. You know, there's stuff blocking you up already. So what are we going to do to calm the constipation, get everything cleared out within just a couple hours so that we can do this? We have 3 options, okay? The first option is a vitamin C flush. This can be done any time of the day. the bummer of it is the effects are going to last for 4 to 6 hours in both of the first two options. So if you end up having to do it anytime past noon, you're going to be having really good bowel movements, probably past your bedtime, but whatever. You just deal with it because you'll be up anyways because you did an ELF. But it will get your bowel cleared. Okay, the vitamin C flush. This is ascorbic acid. It is white powder, and I've got some right here. This is one of the brands that I have. There's quite a few out there. This is not the only game in town. It just happens to be the one I have. And this is the way you do a vitamin C flush. Now, I use this for my vitamin C dosing every day. For me to do a vitamin C flush, I need 5 doses, 5 level teaspoons of this. And so what you do when you're finding out how much you need to take is you take 1 level teaspoon, and I keep my teaspoon in here, okay? So when I'm pulling it out, I pull it out of the bag, and here's my teaspoon, and I just pulled it up over my hand on the side of the bag so that it levels out on the way out. Tap that into your glass, and what I have here is a little Bell tumbler, and I'm gonna go ahead and take a dose. And the ascorbic acid that we have here, this is about 4,000, it's a little over 4,000 milligrams per teaspoon. So you are going to be really doing a vitamin C balm, which is really good for you. I mean, this is definitely good stuff. Okay, you just add your water into it. And I keep the measuring spoon in my bag so that I've always got it there and I don't have to go looking for it. And because I sat down here without anything to stir with, I'm going to use my old favorite standby, my pins. I picked that up when I used to work at social service. Just use my pin to stir my coffee cream. Okay, that is it. And what you do is you then just drink it. It's very tart, not bad tasting at all. And you want to take fresh water after every dose because it's a little like eating lemons. Just flush your teeth so that you don't mess with the enamel on your teeth from the citric acid. And what you're going to do now, set your timer for 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, you take your next dose. And you continue dosing every 15 minutes until your bowels move. Now, you're not waiting for that big bowel movement. Once your bowels move, you're done. It will continue to escalate the effect. The effect continues to escalate for 4 to 6 hours. Okay, so the first time I did it, I will confess, Adrienne told me, you know, just take it until you have your bowel movement. And my first bowel movement was just a little piddly thing, and I'm thinking, oh, that wasn't nothing. You know, I'll keep on with a little bit more. So I ended up taking 2 more doses before I had a big bowel movement. And I didn't need to do that. I was pooping until 9 o'clock that night. And I finished taking my last one by 10 o'clock that morning. And so, but there was no cramping. I can tell you honestly, if you overdo it, I never had the cramps. I was not the least bit uncomfortable. There was no harm, no foul. I took extra water during the day, and you might even sprinkle a little bit of salt into your water, just because you don't want to get dehydrated, just a little, you know, like 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. But I just made sure I kept my fluid down. And the one thing is, when you do a vitamin C flush, if you have any pressure down there, you're not going to pass gas. Don't mean to be crude, but you need to go to the bathroom and sit on the toilet before you let anything out, because it's going to come out wet. And so that will completely clear you out. the effects are normally, if you do it well, the effects will be from 4 to 6 hours, and then you're done. And your bowel has been completely cleared out and you are cleaned out. You do this in the morning. You can do your ELF in the evening. I've had to do it on a couple people that have come here, and they thought their bowels were open and working well. I will not give names away. And we did a vitamin C flush. The poor people were up half the night with their bowels moving, but there was no throwing up on the ELF. We kept the ELF down. So it was, that was a late night thing. It would have been really good if to get it done in the morning, and so that the effects could be over and you could try to get some sleep. But you do what you have to do. And so you can do your vitamin C flush anytime. Just know that the effects are going to be there for 4 to 6 hours. Okay. The second option is a prune juice flush. Now, a prune juice flush works very much like the vitamin C flush. It's not my favorite because of all the carbs that you're getting. I prefer not to take that many carbs in. It's very sweet, but it works. It's very effective. The prune juice flush, you take, you do it, you want to do it in the morning, and you'll see the printouts for all of these on my blog. The instructions and the printouts are available on my blog. But you're going to do this first thing in the morning. You're going to drink a cup of warm water, have a warm cup of tea, whatever. You want a hot drink first, and then you're going to drink 16 ounces of prune juice. A whole 16 ounces, and you do not gulp that down. You chew it down. And the way you chew your drink, or you put it in your mouth, you swish it around, let it mix with the saliva. Every single swallow, you do this. It should take you 10 minutes or better to drink that 16 ounces of prune juice. Every swallow, you're swishing around in your mouth before it goes down. This allows your body better to utilize the nutrients and the chemistry that you're putting into it. So chew your prune juice drink down. Okay. Let's say you wait a half hour, an hour, and nothing has happened. I would say wait an hour. And if you're not if your bowels are not moving, if nothing has happened, then you do it again. You have another hot drink and you follow it with another 16 ounces of prune juice. And you stop there. You do not take any more. It will work. And if it doesn't work, you are really seriously backed up. And you need to do it again, but that's as far as you can take that. And that's another reason I like the vitamin C flush, because with the vitamin C flush, you can just keep it going until it does hit. The little boy had been swimming in a toxic lake up in New York, and Adrian was working with him and his mother. He was 11 years old, or is 11 years old. And he was having seizures and everything from the toxicity. Really messed the little guy up. She was working with him, and the seizures he was having, it was really strange kind of symptoms, but toxicity can be weird. And that poor little guy got up to, I think she said it was 11 or 12 doses of teaspoons before he actually started going. And that's one reason I like the vitamin C, is because you can keep pushing it with the prune juice. If you know the prune juice works for you and you can use it and it will work, and if you don't care about the carbs or the sugars, it works great. But if you're going into it blind and you don't know how bad the constipation is, if you're trying to help somebody, I would really go with the vitamin C, the ascorbic acid flush, because you can keep that one up. And you can just keep pushing with it until you hit and they finally break through and you have some movement coming out. So, and it's tissue saturation that happens. So, and the little guy, I mean, for 11, there was no harm, no foul for that much vitamin C going down him, and didn't hurt him at all. He just finally got his bowels open and moving, which was wonderful. And he is doing much better, but he's still got a ways to go. He's just such a little sweetie. But so that is the two of them. The prune juice flush and the vitamin C flush will normally get it to where you can do an ELF in the day for the day. You know, you can just get it moving, get it going. The third thing is the Epsom salts, and this would be done as part of the Amazing Liver Flush. The instructions for the Amazing Liver Flush are on the page, I believe, and I believe I linked all that up. And this is one where we use Epsom salts, and you're going to set up, I believe it's 4 cups of Epsom salts, and the directions and everything on how much you put in each cup is there. And you drink 2 of them before you do, like I believe it's at 6 o'clock, you drink 1 dose. At 8 o'clock, you drink your next dose. And then at 9:30, you drink your ELF drink. And then in the morning at 6 o'clock, you drink another dose of Epsom salts. And then at 8 o'clock, you drink your last dose of Epsom salts. And the Epsom salts turn your bowel to liquid and your poop and water. And you're usually up till 2 or 3 in the morning with loose bowels, just clearing your bowels, and then you get it again the next day. But if that's all you've got on hand, it will get you to where you can do the ELF in the day for the day. The Epsom salt does work, but you can only do that once every 6 to 8 weeks. It can upset the electrolytes. It is a really, really good liver flush, and I'm not discouraging doing the Amazing Liver Flush, because you will get more waste out of your liver doing that one. It is powerful as far as clearing the liver of waste and toxins and getting the gallbladder emptied and all of that. It is really, really good. But where you can do the ELF 5 nights in a row, and you can really clean yourself out, and you can keep doing the ELF, which is just the oil and the drink, and then you make sure your bowels are open and all that. The Epsom salt one, you can only do that once every 4 to 6 weeks. It cannot be repeated over and over. You will upset your electrolytes. Not good. But that said, it is still a very good, very powerful way to flush the liver, and I strongly suggest using it in conjunction with the regular ELFing program when you're doing more than 1 in a row. Having one of those be the Amazing Liver Flush with the Epsom salts, you'll really see the garbage coming out. It's wonderful. And getting yourself all ready to do that, it's excellent cleaning out. Okay, so those are the 3 things that we can do to get the bowels open and get everything so that you can go right into getting your liver flushed and getting all this moving into your program, your healing cleansing program, which is where we all want to be. We want to get past the start and into actually cleansing. Now, what you do for your bowels so that you continue to have good bowel movements is the lower bowel formula number 1. Now, this formula, you take, it's a capsulated formula, and normal bowel movements, you should be having a bowel movement every morning and 1 after every major meal. That is normal bowel movement. So if your bowels are not moving all that well, you probably need a little help. The lower bowel formula number 1, these capsules, they have your cascara sagrada, aloes, all the good herbs in them that work with the peristalsis. Now, this is completely different. The effect that the number 1 has on the body is completely different than the flushing that the vitamin C, prune juice, and Epsom salts does. So When you are using your lower bowel number 1 formula, you do not change the way you take them when you do a vitamin C flush. You still take just as many, even though your bowels have been completely cleared out. If you have to take 5 pills every night for your bowels to work the next day, you still take your 5 pills. I don't care that you've been pooping all day long. It is not the same thing. The intestinal number 1 works on the peristalsis. That's that squeezing, kneading motion. It makes that stronger and more effective so that the waste is moved through your body more effectively and is brought to be eliminated. The vitamin C and the prune juice and the Epsom salts, all that is taking a fire hose to your bowel and just clearing out whatever's in it. This is not solving the problem of your constipation. It's just cleaning out the bowel so that your liver can be emptied and so that you can actually clear out the liver. Is that making sense to everyone? Or okay, so when you do your bowel cleansing, you take 1 capsule the first day with dinner, 2 the second, 3 the third. You continue to increase by 1 capsule a day until you find your magic number. And then you continue on at that level. It's not written in stone. It's going to fluctuate. If you get to dinner time one day and you go, you know what, my bowels were really slow today, take an extra pill. If you get to dinner time and you go, I was a little overactive today, drop a pill. You are in control. That turns it up, that increases the power of the peristalsis so that the waste is being moved more effectively through your body. And it actually has a healing effect on the peristalsis, which is that muscular motion. It strengthens it because it's causing it to work more effectively. So it's not taking over the function of the bowel, it's encouraging the bowel to function more effectively, which is what we want to do. And so in young people, they often can heal their peristalsis and come off the number 1s completely. Once you get a little bit older, the muscle tones just don't tone up like they once did. So it may be something that you will be on indefinitely, but it's definitely worth it to get the waste out of your body. All right. So we have now talked about the getting to the point of doing your ELF. And now let's talk about what an ELF is, what you're going to do. And of course, the instructions are on there. I've got videos for the ELF party, all of that good stuff. When you're going to do your ELF, you are going to set up and you're going to be drinking 8 ounces of olive oil with 8 ounces. I prefer grapefruit juice, but you can actually use any juice you want with that. I've had some people that have used apple juice with it. Whatever. If you don't like citrus, you can use your apple juice. But you want 8 ounces of juice, and citrus is what is normally preferred. I think grapefruit juice cuts the oil flavor the best. And 8 ounces of extra virgin olive oil. You're going to precede that. Before you drink that drink, right before it, you're going to drink 2 teaspoons of LP formula and 2 teaspoons of digestive tonic in just a little bit of water. You knock that back, and then you pick up the oil drink and you drink it right down just to wash that out of your mouth. As soon as you've got that oil drink down, which should be fairly quickly, you're going to lay with your right side down, liver side down for 45 minutes. So you go lay down on your side, set the timer for 45 minutes, lay down on your side for 45 minutes. At the end of that time, you then get up, you put your castor oil pack on, a towel and a heating pad, and you warm that for an hour or so. Or you can just stay in bed, put it on in the bed, get up, put it on, go back to bed, and just warm it for a little while before you fall asleep. And you leave the pack on all night long. The castor oil pack stays on all night. All right, the crisis time, when most people get into crisis, doing an ELF is around 4 o'clock in the morning. It seems like the 4 o'clock is the bewitching hour. of when everything has just gotten overwhelmed in your system, because once that starts pulling, it's pulling waste from everywhere into the liver. The liver is dumping waste out, so now it's a sponge that's pulling in more. And it begins to, it seems like 4 o'clock in the morning is that bewitching hour when it all starts to get filled up and backed up. And when it backs up into your stomach is going to say, I don't think so, and make you want to throw up. So you do not want that toxicity getting into your stomach. When you go to bed that night, take a teaspoon of LP and a teaspoon of digestive and a little bit of water and set it beside your bed. But if you wake up and you're feeling at all nauseous, if you have any bad burps where it's kind of acidy coming up in your throat, anything like that, go ahead and drink that dose. And that will just send everything back the right direction and just calm everything down. And you can do that repeatedly through the night. If you use the one dose, you can then get up and make yourself a second dose. If you know you have problems, set a couple doses up, when you go to bed, so that you can just grab the next one and you don't have to worry about it. But that will use it at the beginning, not after you get into a bad crisis. You wake up, you're burping up a little bit of acid, or you feel even the slightest bit tweaked, drink your drink, knock it back. That's just going to calm everything down and send everything back in the right direction. If you let it escalate, it's just going to be more that's getting in there, and your body's going to have to work harder to get it all calmed down and get it out. So, but it does seem like the bewitching hours around 4 o'clock in the morning. That's when we've had the most crises here. When people have come in to do their ELF, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. We can count on if there's going to be a problem, that's probably when it's going to hit. And it works really well, just having that already ready to drink. So that is the ELF. Okay, when should you do an ELF? When and this is not the detoxing program that you'll do. This isn't the program that the liver flushing that we do to get cancer out of the body, to detox major diseases, all of that. This is just simply clearing the liver through. So the big question is, how do I know when do I do one? When what you were doing stops working. Okay, you're going along, you're doing a program, you're clearing issues in your body, and suddenly everything falls out. It's not working like it was. The herbs don't seem to be having the effect they were having. When what you were doing stops working, or when what should work won't work. When we're doing everything and it's just not cutting it. All right, let's do some serious liver flushing. Let's get that liver cleared out and find out why what should be working isn't working, and give the body a chance to get on top of it. This is why I say let's get ELF right in the beginning of our program, so that the body is ready and primed and everything is ready to take the routines and to do the work effectively right from the beginning. So those are the two things that would indicate that you probably need to do another ELF. Okay, now let's talk about regular liver flushing. Before we move into that, let's go ahead. Any questions on the ELF? Anything that has come up that I haven't covered? Any comments anyone wants to make about their ELFing experience that isn't what I've said? Anything?
Daryl, what time of day should an ELF be done? The flushing should be done
between 6 and 10 o'clock at night. That is when the liver likes to be messed with.
Okay, and you should stay in a castor oil pack all night, right?
Yes, the castor oil pack stays on all night. And I don't know that I mentioned to rub the M&L salve underneath it. The mullein and lobelia salve opens up the lymphatic system and lets everything, lets the castor oil get in there and work a little bit better. So you just rub that on like a lotion, and then you put your pack on over top of it.
I know that this time frame probably varies significantly, but when you do an ELF, is there anything like a standard amount of time before you would do another one, even if you're not noticing anything not working?
Okay, you can repeat the ELF up to 5 days in a row.
Okay.
When I have worked with people with, well, I'll just use my favorite story. My brother contracted tetanus. He was a contractor. He's passed away. And my younger brother was a contractor, and he stepped on a rusty nail, and it went up through his boot, and he had not been immunized in over 17 years, 17, 18 years since he had had a booster for tetanus. And his best friend's father was an MD doctor. So he goes to Dr. Bergman and he said, I stepped on a nail. Can you test me and see if I'm going to get tetanus? And Dr. Bergman told him there's no blood test for it. It's symptomatically diagnosed. So he called me the day of the accident, and he's in California. I'm back here in North Carolina. So I shipped him out everything he would need, the infection program, the whole protocol, everything. And the intense infection protocol is that you do 5 ELFs in a row. You do an ELF for 5 nights in a row. So, and then you take the infection formulas every hour and an ounce of echinacea once a day. And that's the basic intense infection program. Okay, and then because it was tetanus, I also sent along the antispasmodic and the M&Ls, which is a topical antispasmodic. So 8 days after he stepped on the nail, it just slams into him. I mean, he wakes up, he's nauseated, he's just racking spasms up and down his body, all of this. So he does the antispasmodic, and that calms the spasms down, and he starts taking his formula every hour. And then that night, he did his first ELF, and he did 5 ELFs in a row, taking his formula every day, and then doing his 5 ELFs in a row. And by the 4th day, he was symptom free. It was over. And he called me and he says, I would never take another one of these things, but you told me I have to do 5, so I'm drinking it tonight. And I just want you to know I don't want to. But he says, I never want this to come back again either. So I'm doing all 5 of them. So he did his 5 in a row, and that was about 10 years before he passed. And it completely cleared it up. And he was my second case of tetanus. My first case was a 9-year-old girl here locally. And she's now in her 20s and doing just fine. That is 5 ELFs in a row for the intense infection program. It also is an excellent aid when you're really, really trying to dig deep. And when I get into the regular liver flushing program, you're going to see how that 5-day 5 in a row fit into the real intense liver flushing for clearing major diseases also. But thank you, Franklin. That was a very good question. I had not gotten into that.
What was your question? So can you always have to do a liver flush, right? I mean, you can do the other options, but they're just pushing it through fast. But it's the liver working really hard to get the gunk out of there. But see, my husband doesn't like the olive oil. He said, if I can do something else, I want.
There's no substitute.
Well, okay, so he can do the prune juice, but it's not going to do the same thing that the liver flush does.
Nope. No. Tell him we love him. We give him hugs and kisses, but there's no substitute. You just there's no way to get away from it. It's the olive oil. The olive oil is what causes the liver to contract like a sponge. It gets the liver to contract and just whoosh all the waste out of it. And the Roto-Rooter, we do have a stronger one. I mean, when the liver is really, really packed up and that gallbladder is just got huge stones in it and it's just packed up, the Roto-Rooter is 16 ounces of olive oil and 16 ounces of grapefruit juice. That's what we call the Roto-Rooter. And I have administered that several times, and it works beautifully. The one was to our pastor's wife. She was an RN, and she had gone and gotten the sonogram and everything done, and her stones were huge. And it was really a mess. And so when she came with a girlfriend to do her elf, and we gave her the Roto-Rooter, and it was 4 o'clock the next day before she was passing her stones, even with that huge flush. She was just, they were so tight in there that they didn't let loose and start coming out until 4 o'clock the next afternoon. Usually you see stones beginning to pass by 4 in the morning or noon the next day. But she was 4 o'clock, and the pastor is the one that told me that. He said it was 4 o'clock before she started passing. So
excuse me, this is Catherine. May I offer
there is
suggestions?
more, and we can kick it up and torture even more. Go ahead.
So what I did with the olive oil, because I was buying like a half a gallon in bulk at the local health food co-op. So I got my intuition said, well, try a higher quality of olive oil. And I did it. And it was more palatable. It seemed to have an easier effect on my body. And so I'm one of those persons where my body is very sensitive, which brings up, something that's really kind of weird. There are on occasions where my body gets so sensitive that if I pick up something with a sharp edge, and not real sharp edge like like a spoon, it hurts like hell on my fingers. And it's just weird. So anyway, that's a higher level of stuff. But anyway, I'd like to offer the suggestion of looking at a higher quality of olive oil. It may cost more, but the effects are depending on the individual, of course. That
is a really good idea.
Yeah.
That is an excellent suggestion. Anna, did you have a question?
Well, actually, my question was in relation to the amount of olive oil, because I have found I have done it with lesser amounts of olive oil. Like, instead of an 8 ounce, I'll do like a 4 or 6. And we've talked about this before, but I don't do well with the digestive tonic. It makes me sick, actually. So it has the reverse effect. And so
it does on my husband too. You guys are both weird.
I know, you told me that. I do drink warm lemon water or ginger tea, and that will help. So I do that as an alternative. But the lesser amount of olive oil, it works. It just doesn't work as potently, I guess you would say.
Yes. Because the amount of olive oil that you're using is going to contribute to how hard the liver can contract itself. So the more olive oil that you put in, the stronger the contractions are going to be on the liver.
It still has worked, but
yes, it will work. It will work on especially if you've got a history of cleansing yourself. You can use less of the olive oil, or if you're petite. I mean, if you only weigh 100 pounds, you need to shave that drink. You need to shave everything. I mean, if you're a 100-pound petite lady, then you don't do 8 ounces. You do maybe 6 ounces of each. And you should be shaving all of your doses of everything. And if you are on the other side of that, 250, 300 pounds, something like that, you may actually need to do a little more of all the different things. It's the body mass that we're dealing with.
And I'm not super petite, but I'm very sensitive. And I just have found that everything I have to dose lower, but it works fine. Even my tinctures and all, I've had to play with it over time.
That is perfect. And thank you for sharing that, because that is very important. People need to realize that we're all very individual. And what I am doing here is I am giving you a suggestions, go away, little fly, suggestions on what will normally work. And as you apply them to your body, you then have to apply them wisely and let them find what works.
real
Yes.
quickly, how do you know whether you're getting a decent olive oil or not? You know, she's saying better quality, but that's what does that look like?
The
The,
price.
let me jump in here. The California olive oil, I'll get a bottle of what I have. It's one of the only known bottles to be pure that is not counterfeit.
Yeah,
Okay.
Franklin, if you can show, because I don't really have a good
I'll go
answer for
grab
that. Thank you. We'll let Franklin share what he's using.
Thank
It's the
you.
good stuff.
So I'm,
Yeah, let's look at
is
what
my-
Franklin's
is my
got here.
picture showing yet? Can you see that picture?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so this is the one that we use, and you don't want to use their global blend. You want to use the one that is the United States. What's it say here? It says, it says California. It's a
Okay.
California blend, and this is known to be genuine virgin olive oil. And many of the Italian virgin olive oils are are altered through, shall we say, negative activity by the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
It is not quite as honest as we'd like to believe. And so you can see this right there, exactly what we get. There's lots of different places to sell it. World Market sells it. Earth Fare in our area sells it. Perhaps a health food store in your area might. It is expensive. This bottle here probably costs about $22, and it's a liter.
Well, it's
Okay.
definitely worth it.
Thank
It's
you.
definitely worth it.
There is another brand that's good too. It's more of a higher quality. It's called Hidden Valley. Theirs is good because a lot of cheaper versions my friend was using, she said would cause her so much nausea. So she started using Hidden Valley, and she said it helped her with her nausea, taking the olive oil.
Very good.
Thank you all.
All right. Dawn, you have a question?
Yeah. So when you're doing like more than one elf in a row, like 2 or 3 or 5, should you like be doing that lemon water? Like, is that hard on your kidneys? I was wondering, or not?
You want
Because it's
you
all that
want
olive
to.
oil.
Okay, we'll get into that a little bit when we get into the liver flushing and the kidney flushing side of this. You do want to keep your kidneys open. They are going to be pulling more waste. So doing your hot lemonade with the apple cider vinegar and all that is important. I actually was speaking with someone today who did a detox program, and it caused their blood pressure to go through the roof, and they may be here tonight. I can't see everyone that's here. I had given her an invite to come on in, but you can do a good detoxing program, and it can just clog up those kidneys, which will throw your blood pressure off and just send everything. So if your blood pressure becomes erratic, you probably need to do the big stone dissolve routine with the ultimate kidney flush routine and get those kidneys cleared out. Maxine, you've had your hand up for a little while. I'm sorry, you're now up there hiding behind my record button.
I'm here. You said when you're having a gallbladder attack, you can take the digestive tincture, but what is did you say LP formula? I'm not familiar
Yes.
with it.
The LP and the digestive tonic together. LP is short for liver gallbladder antiparasite. We just shorten the name down to LP. And if you've ever gotten an ELF kit, it's the second formula in the ELF kit.
Okay.
It's you use it in conjunction with the digestive tonic to settle everything.
Okay. So I can purchase that from you, correct?
Yeah, we have all that.
Okay, thanks very much.
Not a problem, my dear.
There, I have one question about fasting and whether or not extended fasting has any impact on flushing the liver.
Yes, it would. When you do you're talking juice fasting.
I'm talking juice fasting or water fasting, just for
or just eating raw is
No,
also you can do a grape fast, anything like that.
Okay, I mean I've got one of my sons does 60-hour fast routinely, and he's also done 4-day, 7-day fast. I mean he's fasted, I don't know, probably 1 day for every 2 days he's eaten throughout this whole year.
Okay. I would say that it is going to, you're making yourself very alkaline when you do your fasting. The cooked food is very acid. It's got a lot of acidity. So when you're fasting, whether it's a raw food fast, grape fast, which is wonderful,
Right.
juice fasting, water fasting, whatever it is that you're doing, you're getting very, very alkaline. And that is definitely going to make it easier for your body to throw off the waste, because you've got more tools to neutralize the acidity that your body's going to be pulling up. So it would make it easier for the body to dump waste out because the alkalinity is there. When the alkalinity is available, you don't have to do anything special. Your body will just use it. I mean, your body is all about clearing the waste out and getting healthy. And when you provide the tools and the things needed for it, it's just going to go to town and start doing that. So
Okay.
my only concern would be is make sure he's taking enough echinacea so he doesn't end up with headaches or backlash, because the immune cells have to attach all that die off and neutralize it so the liver can process it out.
Okay.
So when you're doing that kind of work, you want to make sure your immune system is boosted enough to deal with it.
All right.
Okay, have we exhausted the subject of the elfing, and we're ready to get into the regular week of liver flushing then?
Yes.
Okay, all right. The liver flushing, the week of liver flushing is where the detoxing. This is the big heart of the Incurables program is the liver flush. Everything that we do in the Incurables program is all about being able to do that really good week of liver flushing. And yes, the kidney flushing is also important, because if you don't do that, everything's just going to go south. But the whole Incurables program is all about getting into the liver flushing routine. And the liver flush, of course, is, and this is the one that you're going to do with the detox formula and the LP formula, where you're using the herbs to support the liver, to neutralize the waste, and to create the die-off. So in a week of really good liver flushing, you're going to be using your detox formula and your LP formula every 3 hours. 1/2 to 1 teaspoon, depending on your body weight size and what you can tolerate, of the LP and the detox. The detox is the anti-cancer formula. And I will be honest with you, it is the worst tasting thing that you will ever put in your mouth on purpose. The liver is stimulated by the flavors of hot and bitter. And so this is a liver stimulant. It's hot, it's bitter, and it's nasty stuff. And the way that you take it is you put your dose into a little shot glass, you add your detox tea to it, and you aim for the back of your throat. You do not wish that around in your mouth. You do not chew that one down. You just knock it back and get it done because it is nasty stuff. But this is to support the process. Of course, your bowels have to be open. All the foundational program is in place, and I've got plenty of videos on the foundational program and all that. So what we're going to be assuming here that you've got all those programs in place, your bowels are open, everything's going well on that. So we're just going to, now we are going to do a liver flush. So it's Monday morning. It's a 5-day routine. Liver flushing, the liver flushing program is 5 days. Monday through Friday is the best way to do it. It's your work week. And you're going to get up in the morning and you take your, you can do your hot lemonade first thing off and just, get that through you, get everything cleaned out. And then you're going to take your first liver flush right off the bat. And the way that looks is the night before you have put your detox tea on the stove. To make a gallon of detox tea, it's 1 1/4 cups of the detox herb. And the tea is good. The tea is actually delicious. It's the tonic that's nasty as all get out. But the tea is good. So you get your gallon pot, you put a gallon of water in it, you put your cup and a quarter of tea in it, and you just set that on the stove and let that just sit there and sit all night long. When you get up in the morning, you turn it up and bring it up to the point of boiling. And then you remove it from the heat and just let it steep while you take your drinks and you do your flush. The liver flush is a 2-part routine. The first part is your oil drink and your garlic and your ginger and your apple juice. Okay. And it's an escalating and a de-escalating. You step up and you step down on your liver flushing week. So on Monday, you're going to be doing, let's say, 2 to 4 pieces of garlic, a piece of ginger about the size of your thumb, and you put that through the juicer, and you probably want to do enough to make 3 drinks because you're going to do this 3 times in the day. So it's morning, noon, and night. So you do 3, you're going to do actual 3 flushes in the day, morning, noon, and night. You are going to do it. Your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're going to do your liver flush drinks. So you can juice it all. You can make 3 of them at one time, just triple everything. So if you're going to start on Monday with 2 pieces of garlic, or I usually go with 4, because I'm putting them through the juicer. So I go with 4 and a piece of ginger and your apple juice. So you would triple that, and you would make enough juice for 3 16-ounce glasses. All right. And to that, when you're ready to drink it, you can put those then in your mason jars with your lids on them and put them in the refrigerator until you're ready to drink them. All right. When you're ready to drink it, you're going to add 1 or 2 teaspoons or tablespoons of olive oil. So it's either a half ounce or an ounce. A tablespoon is a half ounce. 2 tablespoons is an ounce. So you're going to add that just as you're ready to drink it. You shake it up and you drink that down. And it's actually not unpleasant. It's not a bad drink to do. You drink this down. What this is going to do is this is going to go into your liver, and it's going to be softening everything up. It's going to be breaking waste loose in the liver and softening everything up. Imagine it like a bathtub that's just caked with garbage. And you go in and you sprinkle the Ajax in there, and then you throw a little water on it, and you walk away for a few minutes. So you're going to drink that. You've just now wetted everything up in your liver, and you give it a half hour to 45 minutes. Some people say a half hour, some go 45 minutes. And then you're going to then drink 2 cups of your detox tea, 8-ounce portions of the detox tea, set them up separately, and then 2 shot glasses that you're going to have with your teaspoon or half a teaspoon, whatever your dose is going to be, of the detox formula in 1 shot glass and the LP formula in the other one. You set up the shot glasses and you set up your drinks, and you put a couple swallows of the detox tea in with those horrible tasting tinctures. Okay, you pick up the first one, the LP, you knock that back, and then you drink your cup of tea. And then once you get done with the tea, you pick up the second one, your detox formula, you knock that back, make all the faces you want, it tastes terrible, and then you drink your detox tea. And that is it. You have done your flush. That is the whole flush, and you do that 3 times each day. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then within a half hour or so of taking your detox formula, you can then have your superfood or which is your vitamin mineral drink, and that's your nutrition, and you're probably on a juice fast. So you can drink as much juice. When you are doing a juice fast and you are doing a liver flush, you will have something to drink in your hand all day long. If you're not drinking, if you don't have something right there that you need to be drinking on, you're not doing it right. If you're not drinking your flush drinks, you're drinking your superfood. In between that, you're drinking your fresh juice drinks that you've juiced. You need to be getting down 32 ounces a day of carrot juice. You have your ounce of echinacea that you need to take. to support the process at some point during the day. The whole list of, and then any of the support herbs that you're using, those need to get worked in. So you are doing a juice fast. You are drinking all day long. You don't have time to be hungry. You're not hungry. That's just psychological. You are getting plenty of nutrition going down in you. You are not hungry when you're doing a good juice fast. Okay. So you do that 3 times in the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You are going to repeat that process. Okay, that's Monday. On Tuesday, yes, Genevieve.
I just want to make sure the timing, like, so you set up your own schedule. Like if you want to have breakfast at 8 o'clock, if you want to have lunch at 12, and then you have dinner at 5, that's where you're doing. And then in between, you're doing the juicing, you're doing the superfoods, you're doing a normal filler, I guess is what I.
Yeah, you're drinking. You're constantly putting something into you.
Okay.
And whatever juices, and then there's also the broth. Yes, I've split my brain.
Potassium broth.
Thank you. The potassium broth. And the instructions on how you make the potassium broth are in the liver flushing ebook.
Right.
Thank you, Anna. We will see you next time. Be 2 weeks.
And you have
Thank
this as
you.
you have this as a schedule, right? There's a.
Go ahead.
Do you have that as a schedule? Like,
Yes,
you
I
know,
have some suggested schedules in the ebook, in the liver flushing ebook, which is available at my blog. It's one of the handouts that you can print off, and there are some schedules in there and everything. And those are suggestions, so play with those. You know, play with it, work it around, get what you're doing worked into it. Okay, now on Tuesday, you're going to double what you did on Monday. So on Tuesday, you're going to do either 4 or 8 cloves of garlic, depending on how much you did on Monday, 2 big pieces of ginger root, and 4 tablespoons of olive oil, which is 2 ounces of olive oil. And that's Tuesday. And you do that 3 times in the day. On Wednesday, you double what you did on Tuesday. So on Wednesday, if you are doing, if you started out on Monday with 2 tablespoons of olive oil, by Wednesday, you're going to be doing half a cup of olive oil, 4 ounces of olive oil, 3 times. So for those of you that are brand new to it, I would start with 1 tablespoon on Monday. The first time that you do your liver flushing, start with 1 tablespoon on Monday. You'll be doing 2 on, which is 1 ounce on Tuesday, and you'll be doing 2 ounces on Wednesday. That's a place to begin while your body is getting used to all this stuff. Me, whenever I do it, I just start out with 2 tablespoons on Monday, 4 tablespoons on Tuesday, and 8, which is 4 ounces, a half a cup on Wednesday. And believe me, Wednesday's a rough day getting down that much oil, but it's worth it. It's almost like you're doing 3 elves in the day. You're really getting it in there and getting the stuff moving out. Okay, then on Thursday, you do what you did on Tuesday, and on Friday, you do what you did on Monday. So you step it up and then you step it back down. And that is the liver flushing program. That is the basic liver flushing program. Okay. And that is where you should probably begin. Now, my suggestion is that you finish the week with an ELF. On Friday, instead of doing your 3 weaker liver flushes like you did on Monday, just skip those, take your detox formula, your teas, just like you normally would, but between 6 and 10 o'clock at night, do an ELF and just clear that liver out. I mean, you have been softening everything up all week. You have been doing an excellent program. So on Friday, just go ahead and hit it with that fire hose and just clean the liver out. Any questions on that? That is our first level of, that is the lighter level of liver flushing. We can now look at the moderate, unless somebody has a question.
I have a question, Ms. Maxine.
Yes.
Have to stay home from work in order to do this liver flush? Because it seemed like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a full-time job. If you've got a
Yeah.
major disease in your body, you need to seriously do the work to get it out.
Okay.
And this is a full-time job.
But something,
But we have had people that have done this while they were still maintaining their workload, raising their kids. I've had women that were pregnant do this right through their pregnancy, which was really good for the baby because of course the baby's going to get everything in them that they've got, that you've got in you. And so you're detoxing the baby before it gets out, which is not a bad thing.
let me ask you something. In the beginning, you had mentioned that if you don't do this ELF before the liver flush and you had this cough, it'll come back because you didn't do it properly, correct?
Run that by me again. I didn't quite, I missed something in there.
If,
Say that again.
if I forgot to do the ELF first before the
Mhm.
liver flush, I think you mentioned that if we have a cough or something like that, it will come back because we didn't do it correctly.
No, my comment on that, what I was getting to is that when you are trying to clear your body, when you are healing your body and everything was working, you know, maybe you've got a cough. I had been talking with somebody earlier who had a habitual cough issue going on, and you use your bronchitis formula, you clear that up, and then you're going along and you're continuing to do your programs and everything, and then the cough comes back. That would be a good sign that your liver is getting backed up, and that it's no longer, because your lungs, your bronchioles are then going to be a weak spot in your body. Obviously, your body is throwing waste in at the bronchioles. So when that is something that's going to go down quick when your body is getting weak. For other people, like for me, it's my kidneys. My kidneys are a weak spot in my body after having kidney failure as a young girl. So whenever my kidneys start getting sore, I know that my body is getting really toxic. Whatever the weak spot is in your body, if that starts to go down or go bad, you can kind of have a clue that maybe you might need to do an ELF.
Okay.
Is that making sense?
Yeah, did you mention that sometimes it can cause acid reflux also if you don't do it correctly, that ELF?
No, it's not a matter of doing it correctly or incorrectly. The acid reflux comes because the waste from the liver is backing up into the stomach and you burp it up. Or people can have acid reflux because their gallbladder is backed up. Quite often, or I would say the reason for acid reflux is your gallbladder needs to be emptied and cleared out. You get your gallbladder cleared out, the acid reflux goes away.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's talk about your hand is still up, Maxine. Okay. Oh, Dawn, is your hand up?
Oh,
you're now up
it
at
is,
the top
but
of my screen.
it is really quick. Okay, really quick.
Go ahead.
So like the 32 ounces of carrot juice, like if you have like pre-diabetic blood sugar issues and like or trying to lose weight, isn't that like a lot of carbs?
It
Straight
is
carrot
a lot
juice?
of carbs. Yes, it is a lot of carbs. When you're doing the Incurables program, sometimes you just have to deal with the carbs. If you
Okay.
are pre-diabetic, we need to talk about that and talk about the pancreas support formula and some things like that, which will support the body so you can do that work. For those who are diabetic, I suggest we have to dilute the carrot juice until we get the blood sugars under control.
Okay.
Sometimes we do have to dilute.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Let's now look at the moderate liver flushing week. What is that going to look like? Okay. we're gonna kick up the intensity of the liver flushing program. Now, I do not suggest that you go into, if you're just starting a program, you do not want to start with the intense or the moderate liver flushing. You don't want to put this much work into it until your body is worked up and softened up and ready for this. Okay, and that's really going to go with the intense one. When I explain the intense program, I have had people start out with the moderate one and they've done fine. Okay, what the moderate one looks like is on Monday, you do an ELF. You're still going to drink your teas and everything every 3 hours. You're going to take your teas and you're going to do everything just like you were doing 3 liver flushes during the day. But instead of that, in the evening, you're going to do an ELF. So you do your detox teas, your LP, your detox formulas, all that good stuff throughout the day. But at between 6 and 10 o'clock at night, you do an ELF. And that's on Monday. That's much more powerful. You start the week with an ELF. Then on Tuesday, you go ahead and do what would have been doubled from Monday. So you do Tuesday's drink. You don't start with Monday's drink. So you would be taking 4 garlic cloves, 4 tablespoons of olive oil, you know, the bigger drink on Tuesday. On Wednesday, you can again do an ELF. So basically you would be doing an ELF every other day.
Mm.
And on Friday, you would do one. So on Tuesday and Thursday, you do your 3 liver flushes through the day. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you do an ELF. But you're still drinking your teas and your detox formulas throughout the day. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question. So the liver
Sure.
flush is not with the olive oil.
You put the olive oil in your drink.
Okay.
Yes, you're stepping up
Okay,
the
so-
olive oil every day. On Monday, you take 2 tablespoons of olive oil. On Tuesday, you're doing 4. On Wednesday, you're doing 8. On Thursday, you do 4. And on Friday, you do 2 again. So you step it up and step it back down on the olive oil and on the garlic and the ginger that goes into it, into your drink.
Okay.
So is that making sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a chart person, so I'd probably have to put it on a chart and follow that chart.
It's in
Yeah.
in the liver flushing ebook. There's pictures and things to demonstrate the difference. But no,
Okay.
I don't have it on a chart anywhere. Do a chart and then send it to me, and I'll post it. That would be good. Okay, now that would be the moderate liver flushing program. And I suggest that you start with you start with the lighter one, you do the moderate, and then once you've done that, your body would be ready then for the ultimate liver flushing routine, which is 5 ELFs in a row. You're taking your teas. Yeah, Don, I see your face.
I did that. Well, almost 5 in a row. It's a killer.
Yeah. Yeah, it can definitely wipe you out. It will take and slap you sideways and send you to the floor. You're taking your teas and your stuff all day long, but you do 5 ELFs in a row. All right, and I need to say on this that in between these weeks, you do your kidney flushing week. You do not just do 1 week of liver flushing and then the next week of liver flushing, and then your body will go berserk on you. It will not appreciate that. The week of liver flushing, you are cutting so much waste loose. You are just going to all the corners of your body and you're just pulling toxins out from everywhere. The tissues, the organs, everything, you're just pulling waste out. All right, and you're pulling this pile to the middle of your body to be eliminated. It doesn't all get eliminated that week. Your body needs time to catch up with all that waste that it's creating. So the week of kidney flushing accomplishes 2 things. You're supporting your liver and you're supporting removing the waste from processing out all the waste. What I meant to say was you're supporting your kidneys. the kidney flushing routine, you are supporting the kidneys, you're clearing the pus and sediment out of the kidneys, and cleaning house there, you're hydrating, and you're giving your body a chance to finish processing out all the waste that you cut loose the week of your liver flush. So you do a week of liver flushing followed by a week of kidney flushing. And you do not skip that kidney flushing week. You do, and you can have anything from your blood pressure just popping up all over the place. When your kidneys, the vessels in your kidneys are about the width of a hair of your head. And they're a filter. They're filtering your blood. There's no bypass around the kidneys. So if they get backed up or plugged up, your heart has to pump really, really hard and push to get the blood through the kidneys. And it's just not a good thing. So do not ignore the kidneys. Keep up with the kidney flushing. Yes, Cretia,
Yes,
you've got your hand up.
yeah, I want to know, is my blood pressure has been like on the lower side for many years. And since I started the detox, I noticed that, you know, sometimes it's like 95 over 64 or 95 over 67. Is I like it to be at least 100 over like 70 or something. But is that okay or normal for it to be like that?
That's about where mine tends to run. My blood pressure runs 106 over 65, 110 over, you know, if I'm up and exercising, I can go up. But I mean, for my age or whatever, that's pretty good blood pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, you don't think 95 over like 64 is too low?
64? No,
Yeah.
that's still within the normal range.
Okay.
Yeah, just be glad it's not going the other way. If you feel a little heady, if you feel a little off, take some extra cayenne, do your hot lemonade.
Okay.
That will equalize your blood pressure. If it's low, it brings it up. If it's high, it brings it down.
All right. And those drinks that you were talking about, like the drinks with the ginger and the garlic, each of those drinks are always 16 ounce, right?
Yes, those are 16-ounce drinks. So you're concentrating them more. When you're adding that extra ginger and garlic, that is one heck of a concentrated drink.
Yeah.
And then the olive oil going into it, more olive oil. It's still 16 ounces is the final drink.
Yes.
But it's definitely more.
More. Is there any substitute for the castor oil pack? Like, could you do an elf with coconut oil and still get the same result?
No, castor oil, the properties of castor oil break up congestion in the body. Coconut oil will not do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you do a liver flush? And not, I mean, like me, I'll do a liver flush, but I don't ever think I've done a kidney flush. So do you follow up with the kidney flush if you do a liver flush? Elf. Hey, elf. See, that's what there's an elf and there's a liver flush, correct?
Uh-huh. And
So
yeah.
But I'd never have done a kidney flush.
It probably wouldn't hurt you to do one. I'm sure your kidneys would appreciate the help.
Okay.
And we do have.
It's not so.
Yeah, we have the ultimate kidney flush, which, you know, is the 3-day routine, where you put all the juices together and drink that all in 2 days, and that just flushes the kidneys through. And that's what you would do if your blood pressure is hopping all over the place, or you know that you're getting toxic. So, all right. Any questions? I feel like I've covered it. I don't want to blow everybody's brain completely out of the water.
Oh, Dare, real quick. What was that last thing you said about the 3-day?
You're welcome, dear.
Oh,
go ahead.
What was the last thing you said about that 3-day kidney thing where you drink it all in 2 days?
The ultimate kidney flush. It's the old stone dissolve routine.
Okay.
We renamed that to the ultimate kidney flush.
Okay.
And when your blood pressure is going wacky, when all of this, quite often the kidneys are definitely getting backed up and involved in that, and it will just bring it down and level it out. And I learned that from one of our members. She her blood pressure started going wacky, and she goes, "Send me a stone dissolve kit." And I'm going, "Why?" And she goes, "Well, it helps." And I'm going, "Well, yeah, of course, that makes sense." And it's amazing what you guys find out and share with me, and then I can share it with everyone else. It works really well. Any other questions on liver flushing? Have I cleared up the water for anyone, or are you feeling more comfortable with the idea?
Oh, I do have one quick question. Okay,
Yes.
so real quick. If you're like it's summertime, having a bunch of company, and you really aren't going to be able to do like a 5-day thing, like what's the next best thing? Just doing like an ELF once a week, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would, if you've got company there and you know that you need to be doing some sort of detox.
Yeah.
I would just slip my ELF in the evening. I mean,
Okay.
I can do an ELF. I can decide in the middle of the afternoon, I think I'll do an ELF tonight, and just do one. And there's no harm, no foul. It doesn't affect my day at all. You know, I know some people are looking at me with darts in their eyes right now. Going, yeah, right. But you can get used to it where you just blow through it, and it's not that big of a deal.
You just can't eat after 2 o'clock, so you do have to plan for it.
Yeah,
correct?
you have to, at mid-afternoon, you have to plan. There's no food after 2 o'clock in the afternoon when you do an ELF.
Right.
But if you're juicing or whatever, you can drink juices up till an hour before.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you can drink anything you want. You just don't want anything you chewed and swallowed sitting in your stomach when you go to drink that ELF.
Okay.
It would probably come back up.
Right.
Okay. Did I cover this well? I mean,
Good job. I
Good
think
job.
you did good.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, there's so much to learn, and you know, there's just a lot to try to put it up. You got to get it. I mean, I have to visualize it. So now I'm going to go to the ebook, you know, and see.
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't do the incurables. It's you just don't do it. I don't know how to word it. If I don't have anything going on like that, I just do the ELFs. Correct?
Yeah. But do a kidney flush every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, I can add that too. See
Yeah.
what that's like.
And you know what? Your energy dropping off, things like that happening. I think you'll find with the kidney flush that you'll bring some of that back around.
Okay.
It's amazing when your kidneys are getting backed up and they're not filtering the blood as good as they could. You will flush your kidneys and just see where that puts you. Since you've never done one, just try it and see what it feels like in your body.
Okay, and so the kidney flush is in the ebook.
Yeah, I do have. You can put in kidney flush on my blog and come to by Dawn and come to the pages with all the instructions and the kidney ebooks and everything.
Okay, thank you, Dara.
All right, my dears. You guys take care. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
You too, Dora. All right, thanks so much.
Okay, love. Bye.
Bye-bye.